AskReddit. How do you recognize a smart person? Curiosity. A person who recognizes when they don't know something and uses that as a cue to seek more information is probably an intelligent person. The smartest people know that there is always something left to learn. When a coworker of mine was trying to express why he thought the new guy was smart, he said he asks the right questions. It's always stuck with me as a way to gauge intelligence. Asking the right questions and knowing when to stay silent and keep listening are two very useful skills. Process of elimination. The dumb ones almost always give themselves away before the smart ones ever say a word. Their opinions are more informed and less concrete. They're able to see the arguments for both sides of a controversy and consider them both as opposed to blindly following a single side. There are exceptions to this, I feel. Even intelligent people feel strongly one way or another, and there are certain topics that it's really impossible to stay neutral. I'm strongly pro-gun control, but I can see both sides of the argument there. I'm strongly pro-choice, but again, I can see the argument there. But something like LGBT rights? There's literally no sound argument to oppose them. I like to think I'm well informed there, considering I had to argue against LGBT rights for the sake of a debate class and found next to nothing that wasn't the ramblings of some bigot hiding behind a EDU address. I work with a mess of people who are literally rocket scientists. The two things that really stand out to me are, 1, they are quick at mentally processing new information, whether it's understanding a data-dense chart or realizing the implications of a new piece of information. Some people can understand the information really quickly. 2, since they can keep complex systems in their mind, they can invent solutions to problems that less intelligent people would never get to. Sometimes these solutions seem really simple, but seeing them in context of the whole system is harder. I've been assumed stupid people because of how long it takes me to process information, but I find people who think they're quick tend to miss out on a lot of detail. They may get it, but comprehension requires a lot more investigation. This doesn't apply to people you're talking about. I just thought it was worth mentioning. An intelligent person, irrespective of gender, age, race, religious inclination, etc., lights up when they find out something new. They do this subconsciously. Every human is almost happy to discover a new fact, but most times we only pay attention to the big facts. Most intelligent people have this inbuilt aptitude to appreciate little things or little knowledge. To them, every little thing is worthy of note because it makes a bigger picture clearer. I was at a venue on Saturday and there was a line to get in as you had to pay at the door. Well, the venue was set up such that if you wanted to leave, you'd have to squeeze past someone waiting in line. I had just gotten in and this couple was trying to get out. The guy tried the other door, which was automatically moving him up a notch in my book, and found it locked. Dude then proceeded to unlock the door and gracefully exit the venue without having to push his way past the queue. I tapped the girl on the shoulder that was with this savant on her way out and said, "That guy is going far in this world. The bar lowers tremendously as I grow older." I have a similar experience very often, far too often. It's a blight on humanity's general common sense, where I go to a restaurant or some other public place, and as I approach the double doors, somebody on the other side will stand there and hold the door open or something instead of walking out. This is probably a dick move on my part, but I just keep walking and push open the door and walk in without stopping. It's a double door. It's not even locked. I don't understand why some people look at it and think, this is one door. It's in the eyes. I know it sounds dumb, but if you watch closely, intelligent people's eyes will light up when ideas occur to them, or when a subject matter piques their curiosity. And then, just generally, it always looks to me like there's more going on behind their eyes. There was actually a study on this. People were asked to gauge the intellect of people based on pictures of their faces and their answers compared with their respective IQs. Most people were pretty good at it. It seemed eye positioning is most relevant. The impression of eyes lighting up must be an interpretation of these subconscious clues. How they handle being incorrect about something. You're describing a mature person. There are some very smart people who don't take criticism well at all. That being said, I think emotional intelligence is an important aspect of general intelligence. I work as a tutor, and as far as academic smart goes, You can easily tell if someone's aced that exam or do poorly by the questions they ask. Then they tell you there are no dumb questions, but there are. There is no such thing as a dumb question, only dumb people. I notice the little things they do or have set up to make their lives easier, and pay attention to how their outlook on the world. You can usually tell pretty easily if they are smart or not by looking at their facial expression and reactions to various things. Awareness. Whether it's being aware of their surroundings or aware of what is really being said in a conversation, detecting one's sarcasm, subtle jokes, reading between the lines, extrapolating, etc., or aware of themselves. They don't even necessarily have to be intelligent in the general sense. They just need to be doing more than blindly participating in life. The ability to stay silent at times, not giving away too much information about yourself. No need to brag all the time, and actually listen. In the end, empty barrels sound the loudest. I had this mentally smart kid in my senior year history class. He was always usually quiet, but one day my teacher was drawing a crude map of the Middle East. This kid said, "That's very wrong," and the whole class lost it because he rarely speaks, and the teacher says, "Would you like to draw it?" And the kid gets up and draws a perfect map of the Middle East with labeled cities. So we spent the last 15 minutes of class watching him draw the rest of it. Sense of humor. Ever notice it's always the comedians cleaning house on Celebrity Jeopardy? It's usually the smartest guy in the room that makes all the best jokes, and it's the smart ones that get them all too. This is also why women find a sense of humor so attractive. It's correlated so highly with intelligence. It's also fun to note that people who have no sense of humor, who always get offended by jokes and seek to restrict people's language, like today's PC police, but really, these people have always existed, consistently rank below average in verbal intelligence. It's one of the strongest personality trait correlations we've yet discovered, something like -0.4. Every bit as strong as a correlation as intelligence and good grades in college. The person thinks before they speak, and doesn't always need to have the last word in every discussion. A smart person is somebody who doesn't need to prove it by being a tryhard. They're confident in their ways and don't give a response if you disagree. Smart people are also always the ones who are never done learning. A smart person realizes that no matter how much they know, there is always more to be learned. A smart person realizes learning is a lifelong journey. Their ability to think creatively and originally across various subjects and endeavors. Also, their ability to remember things and agilely use that knowledge. People who are well-rounded and not trapped within a specific discipline. I don't agree with this. Generalists dilute their personal resources. I think generalism is an indicator of lack of focus. That's not smart. Specializations are more valuable. I think having the breadth of a generalist with at least one specialization indicates smartness. But people who are only their specializations are a bit limited IMO, as with generalists who aren't particularly good at anything. Then you have people who are straight up good at everything. The short answer is, be smarter than them. Intelligence is a relative thing. It isn't like there is a line in the proverbial sand that separates the intelligent from moronic. If you are smarter than the person in question, determining how intelligent they are is a simple task. If you are less intelligent than the person in question, it becomes nearly impossible if they aren't overt about it. The monkey doesn't realize just how much smarter we are than it because the frame of the reference isn't there, whereas determining a monkey's intelligence is as simple as administering a few tests. I don't know if that's as simple either. If we reverse your example, for us humans it's easy to say that we are more intelligent than both dogs and pigs, but it's not very easy to compare a dog to a pig. When they're far enough away from our own frame of reference, they become more or less interchangeable. By the way they write. By that I mean punctuation, how diversely they use expressions, and the like. I know a lot of great writers that aren't very intelligent overall, and I also know some really intelligent people that struggle with grammar. There's probably some sort of pattern, but you never really know. They tend not to talk about how smart they are all the time. There are exceptions, of course, but people who are socially self-aware and intelligent usually aren't the ones going around bragging about their IQ. Those guys who walk across the road before everyone else in that little gap after the traffic has stopped, but before the light has told pedestrians it's okay to walk. They're in tune with the way the world works. You see it with your own eyes that glisten with curiosity, a mind full of questions and the desire to learn more. The true genius of it is that it's not just he or she knows a lot, it's about being eternally curious. Smart people are generally patient, waiting until all the idiots are done yammering and posturing. Then, they slowly and simply point out the obvious that everyone knew was there all along. People who commonly use phrases like, "I don't know, I'd have to do some research," "I haven't seen enough to form a proper opinion," or similar. Knowing what you don't know is surely one of the clearest signs of intelligence. In the wake of the Brexit vote, there have been a few examples of Leave voters showing that they didn't understand what they were voting for or what the vote really was. A smart person informs themselves before voting. I think intelligent people universally have a less dogmatic way of thinking about the world, an implicit understanding that facts aren't simply facts, but also depends on how we as people conceive of the world around us. IMO dumb people are very attracted by the certainty of various ways of thinking. You can always recognize a really smart person by what they don't say. They won't waste time arguing with idiots, which is why sometimes I realize that I am not very smart. They have a humble confidence because they don't need to show off their intellect or belittle others. They would never accuse you of asking a stupid question because someone that asks a question, no matter how stupid, is only stupid for a few minutes. Someone who doesn't ask remains stupid forever. A lot of people are curious and seeking learning. I agree this is a feature of a smart person in the sense of a person who knows a lot of information. But I believe, and I could be wrong, intelligence is more accurately the ability to understand and figure out things you don't know without looking them up. A truly intelligent person has the ability to easily understand and theorize how things work without having to necessarily be told. I'm probably stretching past smart person and into genius intellect, but I thought it would be good to bring up anyway.